Once upon a time, there was
A donkey.
A donkey?
this donkey. Its name was
Donkey.
Donkey.
It was donkey.
Donkey. And Mr. Donkey, he came to the place called the Ag Fair. At the Ag Fair, he met a couple of people. It wasn't all that grand, but eventually, he died.
Oh, wow. That took an interesting turn.
So what happened is he was processed, his meat was made into steak, donkey steak, and brought to a restaurant where the Corner Crew, a group called the Corner Crew, sat.
This is why retirement homes exist. So Grandpa doesn't go senile.
I know. I've been seeing them kicking
This
everywhere.
donkey meat inspired the Corner Crew. It was so delicious that it inspired them
We ate it?
to go
Isn't that illegal?
to the world, through the world, well actually just Franklin County High School, and they decided that they were going to make a good Christmas. So
Is this the Lion, the Witch, and the Warlock?
they decided to create presents for every single couple thousand people that went to the school.
Good lord.
And
Got that money from the ambulance.
How she sleeps on the couch.
JJ's a big boy.
and so they made their Christmas presents. And they snuck in at 12 a.m.
Only Lauren Kelly wants to cuddle with you.
before the last day of school, before Christmas. And as they snuck in at 12 a.m., they began to place their Christmas presents on each individual locker and desk and any place where the students would most definitely be.
Don't touch Grandpa!
However, they ran into a security guard, and that security guard's name was
Jim.
Jim! Yay!
Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford.
Jim Farleyland.
Yes, so Jim Farley, the cousin of Chris Farley, the CEO of Ford,
That's accurate.
he caught the Corner Crew while they were sneaking in, and he saw them giving out the presents, and he was not one who particularly loved Christmas.
Oh no!
He was one that he actually quite hated Christmas. So
How dare he!
he handcuffed them all,
Good
and he
gosh!
arrested them.
Goodness!
And so they ended up in jail, the Corner Crew. And
Prison.
no, not prison, just
Oh.
jail.
Holding cells.
Yes,
Prison.
and holding cells. And so in there they stood, surrounded by false malt Santas, drunks, and
Oh, but I can't say that's what she said.
vending machines. Yes, they had arrested a couple of vending machines that day. It was a whole financial thing with ripping people off, and it's just it was a whole mess I'm not going to get into. But anyway, as they stood next to these drunks and vending machines and
Fake Santas.
and fake mall Santas, they met a man named Donald Dillon.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. Not DD.
And so Donald Dillon said, I'm quite old. I haven't done this in a long time, but I'll try. He said something along the lines of, "Hey there, guys.
Oh, wow.
Do you want to come and buy a truck from me? I've got a good truck. Give me the money to get out here. I mean, it'll be a nice truck for you." And they immediately walked away because they did not want to deal with him. They had already dealt with him twice, and so he just did not recognize them because he didn't think that he'd find them there. So
Come on, Grandpa.
sorry, I dozed off there. So Santa himself came. The corner crew had become very sad, and Santa decided that he was quite excited that they were going out of their way to save Christmas at their school and help all those people who sometimes felt unloved or just unliked, unincluded. And so Santa bailed them out.
Yeah. Go Santa, be a G.
And then
Santa be rich, man.
For real.
yes, he's quite rich.
Does he got the Gucci?
Jim Farley was not okay with this. He was very upset because thank you. Yes, years and years ago, Santa had put Jim Farley on the naughty list, and he never quite forgave Santa for doing so. So, Jocelyn, stop.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Sit down.
Get off
Come on,
the
sit.
table. I don't
Get
want
off
to
the
sit.
table.
He's making me
Get
move
off the table,
again.
Jocelyn.
I'm scared of Papa. Alright.
And straighten up your back. That posture is not becoming. Hey, sit. Sit. Yes, good job. And so... Oh, where was I? Where was I, Jocelyn?
Santa goes out.
Yes, Santa bad them out. And Jim Farley was not okay with this because he had been put on the naughty list a while ago, and so Santa was... he never forgave Santa. And so he tried to catch them on their way out. But Santa used his magic to transport them all to the North Pole. And JJ said, that feller, JJ, he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, I knew Santa was real. I told you all. And the corner crew just nodded their heads in shame and embarrassment. But that's okay. So, Santa invited them all to help him with the last bit of toys he had to make. One of these toys was a jack-in-the-box. JJ made the mistake of putting a pen in the jack-in-the-box. And what happened was, well, actually it wasn't a pen, it was a baseball. He put a baseball in the jack-in-the-box instead of an actual jack. So, when Santa tested the jack-in-the-box with his face directly over the jack-in-the-box, which was quite silly of him, when the jack-in-the-box popped, it hit him square in the forehead and knocked him out.
Oh no!
What were they going to do? How would Santa deliver all the presents? It was the night before Christmas.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
And Santa was out of commission. And so, the corner crew began to walk, wondering how they would get home, and wondering how Christmas could possibly be saved. Then JJ got an idea. An awful, but wonderful idea, I guess. He said, "Guys, I know what to do. We're gonna save Christmas. I'm gonna be Santa."
Oh boy.
That was precisely what the corner crew said. And so, begrudgingly, the corner crew helped. They finished the last toys and they decided to set out. So, JJ ran the reindeer and they started at the first house. JJ fell down the chimney directly onto his face.
Sounds like JJ.
And somehow he was okay because he's JJ. He gave the wrong presents, and then he gave the right presents. And then they moved on to the next house. This time Braden went in the chimney. And when he went in the chimney, he landed directly on a fireplace. Silly him. His clothes caught on fire. He was okay. He did not get burned, but his clothes were pretty scorched and he looked pretty silly. His hair was... He lost like half of his hair, so he was like bald at that point. And so, he delivered his presents. The presents were okay. And then Avin's turn was next. Avin went down the chimney. But the chimney was a little too small. It wasn't a big chimney. So Avin squirmed and wormed on his way down and somehow ended up coming out of the sink faucet. How strange. And so, as Avin came out of the sink faucet, he gave his Christmas presents, which were soaking wet, and he returned up through the tub faucet and somehow came out of the gutter. The gutter, yes. And then it was Jubal's turn. Without a word, he went in through the front door like a normal person. He placed his Christmas present and walked out of the door like a normal person.
I love that Jubal's a normal person.
And then they rode back. After delivering presents to many, many houses, they rode back. And Santa was still unconscious.
Good lord.
Mrs. Claus was worried.
She's there?
Yes.
I didn't know she was there.
So she started chasing around JJ with a ping pong ball, throwing a ping pong ball at his head. And then she gave him cookies.
You sound like Mrs. Claus.
But then Santa awoke, thanked the corner crew for saving Christmas, and gave them a ride home.
Yay!
But they couldn't remember that they had had this experience with Santa, could they?
I guess not.
And so Santa threw baseballs at all of their heads,
Jeez!
knocking them all out. But they still remembered everything, and also the pain of a baseball hitting them in the head. And they lived happily ever after. The end.
The end.
And that is how the corner crew saved Christmas.